The breaking story about a fallen EFCC official with one in hospital after they raided someone's apartment at the outskirts of Awka, the state capital of Anambra State. If you look at this story, published by many Nigerian newspapers, it seems to be the official version of the story. It's a pity it ended this way for the EFCC officials. But there's another version of the story from the streets of Awka that EFCC officials raided this man's apartment early in the morning by 4 a.m. and the man shot at them in self-defense and he has a licensed gun. Anyway, since the suspect is now in police custody and they are conducting an investigation, the truth will be known in no time. But the EFCC officials must change their modus operandi. They don't need to be exposing their operatives to unnecessary harm. And according to the story, EFCC officials and operatives no longer enjoy life insurance. It stopped several years ago. So if they know this, why do they expose themselves to unnecessary harm when they are well aware that there are safer ways to conduct this kind of operation? And it's very obvious that EFCC officials operate a two-tier policing system, one for the rich and politically exposed persons, and another for poor people, the so-called Yahoo boys. That's a local slang for scammers. A reminder that the main objective of the Obasanjo administration when they were setting up EFCC in the early 2000s was for them to go after politicians, because politicians steal in the billions of naira or even dollars. So they can't be spending more energy and time on local scammers who don't steal in the billions of naira instead of going after the bigger fish. Yes, this is common sense. Now, if you look at how they handle Yahaya Bello's case, they first of all declared him wanted, and Ododo, the governor of Kogi State, delivered Yahaya Bello to their headquarters on a platter. Someone they declared wanted, they couldn't arrest him. Instead, excuses came flying left, right and center. They were justifying why they couldn't arrest someone that came to their headquarters. At the end of the day, obviously a deal was made behind the scenes. Yahaya Bello submitted himself, he was interrogated and charged to court. He's now on bail, moving around freely, going to parties, organizing rallies. People are hailing him, someone that they accuse of stealing more than 100 billion naira. And before they declared him wanted, they extended an invitation to him to come to their office to be interrogated. Of course, he never went to their office for any interrogation. That was why they declared him wanted. But because of the two-tier policing system they operate, they never extend invitations to Yahoo boys. All the small-time or big-time scammers, they never invite them. They always want to violently arrest them. They always want to invade their apartments in the dead of the night. This is the problem here.
Oh my God. I can only imagine how scared this guy is. Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Some are quick to justify their night raids, saying that it is because they don't want the suspects to destroy evidence. They want to take them by surprise. But there's a serious flaw here. It shows that they have not done their investigation perfectly. If they are relying on the evidence they will get from the suspect, then they have not done their homework. They are supposed to conduct investigation, have all the evidence they need, identify the suspect, then move in to arrest him. That evidence they have before moving in to arrest the suspect means that they are 99% sure he committed the crime. They don't need to rely on whatever they will get from him to prove that he is guilty. No, this is a flawed process. As a matter of fact, before obtaining a search warrant from a judge, they need to prove to the judge, hey, look at all these documents, look at all this evidence. They are pointing the finger to the suspect. If the judge is convinced, he will issue them a search warrant and they will go and execute it. But if they are relying 100% on the evidence they will obtain from the suspect when they raid his apartment, Maybe someone tipped them off that this person is into scams just based on hearsay. There's no evidence whatsoever, and they invade the person's apartment, and at the end of the day, no evidence is obtained. They end up leaving the person traumatized. We've seen this story many times on social media. They raid people's apartments in the dead of the night. At the end of the day, they don't find any evidence. Either they went into the wrong apartment, or the tip they got from the whistleblower was wrong on the person. Maybe it's just someone that works from home. He doesn't wake up every day, go to work, and come back in the evening, and neighbors start suspecting that he must be into scams. And before you know it, they tip off the EFCC. They end up raiding the person's apartment without finding any evidence, and they don't pay any compensation for the trauma and destruction of doors and property.
Yes, so
what happened was that they came at 3 a.m. early this morning. Everybody in the compound was sleeping. Already we did not have a lot of people. Like there was no people were not already in the compound. We just have like few tenants that was around.
But early this morning, in other news, a medical doctor killed an EFCC officer in Anambra State, not a Yahoo boy. That is what the real news is saying. And that says that they thought they were kidnappers. It was a medical doctor who killed an EFCC officer when they came like armed robbers in the middle of the night. At the time, the state was forced to insecurity, and the men reacted in defense, probably thinking they were robbers. The man involved is a medical doctor with no ties to illegal activities. The pump action gun used was reportedly licensed normally before the EFCC operatives in any area. They are required to notify the local police officer. Unfortunately, this protocol was not followed during the operation in Oka that night. When the doctor called to confirm whether the relevant security agencies were aware of the EFCC presence, he was informed that they were not, believing he was confronted by kidnappers and acting out of self-defense. According to the news, he fired when they broke into his apartment at midnight. Regrettably, two EFCC operatives were injured in the process. Upon realizing they were from the EFCC, he immediately dropped the weapon. Meanwhile, the EFCC action in Anambra State had been raised concern initially. They were attempted to raid a particular area but were intercepted by the police, who were unaware of their operation. According to the EFCC, due to the shortage of personnel, they altered their plans and proceeded to raid a smaller location. They forcibly entered the estate and targeted apartments based on the types of cars parked outside, using them as an indication for which units to search. This raised the question, how did operatives from the EFCC in Enugu Zonal Officer go to Anambra amid ongoing insecurity in the state without informing the local police, especially while facing a shortage of manpower?